What's up everybody, it's Connor from T-sportline. Today we're going to be removing the OEM bumper off of our Tesla Cybertruck. We're putting a CTX front bumper on this truck today. We'll need that OEM bumper to come off, but you can also use this install video to remove your front bumper if you're intending on putting any sort of lights on your factory bumper. Tools needed for this install are going to be a T25 bit or T-handle, a T20, and a T8 bit or T-handle. Additionally, a 10mm socket, 3-inch extension, and quarter drive ratchet are all needed. A pocket screwdriver and some type of trim tool are all useful. First things first, we need to get the truck up in extract mode. We've already got our truck here in extract mode, but if you do not already have yours up in there, you can go to Dynamics and click the off-road button and then go off-road. Next, you'll go back to your control menu and click extract mode on your ride height and then click OK on the pop-up. Then you'll wait for the truck to come all the way up and we'll be ready to go ahead and pull the front bumper. Now that we've got the truck up in extract mode, first thing we need to do is remove these plastic tow hook cover panels. There is a 10mm bolt behind these that we need to remove. So we're gonna take our pocket screwdriver and there are 2 tabs up top that we can get these in. Now you also may have a little bit of flex to your panel here that you may be able to get this in the side and just a little bit of twist and pull and a little bit with your hand and that clip will pop right out. Now there is a little bit of rubber in the center here around your tow hook, so you'll need to grab that and kind of pivot it as you come out, so it will be pretty tight on there, just like that, and we'll do that on both sides. And then this 10mm bolt right here is what we're going to remove, and these are not super tight from Tesla, so they should come out pretty easily. Now that we're back up top in the frunk, there's a couple trim panels that we need to remove to be able to get the rest of the front compartment out of the truck. You're going to have 2 panels on either side right here on the base of your front that will expose 2 10mm head bolts. And then additionally, we're going to need to remove our upper cowl at the base of the windshield. So we're gonna take our trim tool, and I like to start on the driver's side and work my way towards the passenger side, just popping up those clips and getting those loose. And then pivoting our cowl all the way back out. There we go, and we'll set this to the side. We're gonna go ahead and remove the 4 bolts on the bottom of our frunk. Now that we've removed the 4 bolts at the base of the frunk, we're going to move back up to the back of the frunk and remove these 2 bolts here. Next, we're going to remove our washer fluid cap here. We're just gonna pop this off and grab the hex and pop straight up like that. Next thing we need to do is remove these 2 little bump stops on either side of the truck. So we're gonna take this bump stop here and we're gonna twist it counterclockwise until it loosens up and just pull it straight out. Same with the driver's side, we're going to turn it counterclockwise and pull straight out. And with that, our frunk is now loose, but we do need to still be mindful of our emergency release button here that will need to be unplugged. So we're going to take our frunk and pivot the driver's side forward just enough to where we can get our arms in behind it and unplug that connector. So this is your plug right here. There's nothing really clipping it in. You'll just take your trim tool and push straight back on the connector side of the plug. So this is the connector on the car side. There is a little groove at the base of the connector right here. I took my trim tool and just kind of notched it in there and pushed back on it and it popped right out. Now that we have our frunk out, we need to remove our front button plate here. It's gonna be 4 tabs across the top and it's going to hide 2 10mm bolts that hold the top of the front bumper on. So we're we're just gonna push down on these tabs with our trim tool and pull out. They are going to be pretty stiff in there, so you may have to kind of do it a couple times. First time coming out, and then it should just slide out. And then we're going to take this gray tab here on the back of the connector and pull it straight out like that, and then push down and pull back on the connector as a whole. Once that's unplugged, we can take our front fascia piece here and set it to the side. Next, we're gonna remove these 2 bolts. And we will be reusing these bolts. Now we're gonna be down in the fender liner. I've cranked the wheel all the way to the right, and we're going to remove these 3 push pins and then 1 all the way at the back. And peel it up out of the way. Now that we have our fender liner peeled back, we've got some wires here and our washer fluid hose that we need to remove. So first one here is going to be your washer fluid pump, and you're going to see this red tab here, and you're going to pull that straight back and then push down on the connector and pull straight back out like that and disconnect that. This same style clip will be on your Pedestrian speaker, which is going to be tucked up by your subframe down here. Next, you're going to have this blue connector here, which is your front fascia camera. And you're gonna see this tab on the top here. You're going to push that down. Down and pull straight out like that. And then next, you're going to have your washer fluid hose, and you're just going to pinch the top and bottom of this and pull straight back and out like that, and it may spray a little bit of washer fluid at you. Last thing we're gonna need to do is remove this 10mm bolt right here. Now we're gonna move on to the other side and remove the same 4 pop clips and the 1 10mm bolt. So now we're up under the Cybertruck, and there's going to be 6 10mm bolts to remove. 2 are gonna be underneath these little covers here. You can take your pocket screwdriver or a trim tool and just pop those down either side, just like that, and then you will have a trim clip at the edge of the fender liner. We can just pop that out and remove that. Next, I'm gonna take my 10mm. If you are removing your bumper to install a CTX bumper, you will need to hold on to these 4 rearmost 10mm screws, as these will be reused with the CTX kit. And that's the last bumper bolt that we have. Our bumper is just now hanging here now, so we can go back up top and remove it. Now we can remove our front bumper. You may want a friend to help get this off. However, one is not required, and you will be able to get this off by yourself. It may take a little bit of working the bumper back and forth to get it off. So I like to start on the driver's side over here. I'm gonna grab our plastic bumper, and I like to pull up on it and just give it a good yank out like that. And then move over to the passenger side and do the same thing, just like that. And then either side, grab it and just walk it off, just like that. And you can see our Pedestrian speaker and all of our wiring harness here for the front camera and washer nozzle assembly. We're going to move on to removing these for the CTX bumper. So I'm moving on to removing our wiring harness and washer hose here. So you can see we've got some tabs holding the wiring harness in place. And I like to go ahead and just push all of these back through so that we have some working room on our harness. You can use a pocket screwdriver or a trim tool to kind of push the edges of these clips back towards the center. Got one here. Pop that out, and the last one is our junction right here. Each of these guys is on their own clip. Just like that. So what I like to do next is go ahead and unplug our harness. So you're gonna have one SAE connector here. We're gonna move this gray tab back and unplug it just like this. That is the plug for your camera heater. We need to be very careful with these wires coming off the back of the camera here, as these are your camera heater wires, and these are just soldered into place under this liquid electrical tape, and it is very prone to ripping out under extreme stress and tension. Next, I like to remove our washer nozzle at the union here. So we're just going to twist and pull until those are free. And the final one is going to be this green connector here, which is for our camera itself. And you're going to push up on this tab and pull straight back out on your camera with a little bit of twist. And with that, our harness is fully removed, and we can go ahead and transfer this part to our Cybertruck. So our factory harness here is going to have a lot of these rectangular trim clips here. If we are transferring over our harness to our CTX bumper, you will not need to worry about the condition of these push tabs, as this harness will be cable tied up into the bumper. So the condition of these does not matter. It's okay if they do get a little damaged being removed from the factory bumper. Next thing we're going to do is remove this tiny screw here. You're going to need a T8 bit. And we're just going to take this, and it's not in very tight at all due to its size, so we should be able to back it out by hand. So this is your camera nozzle here. We're just gonna go ahead and set this with our harness, as this will be transferred over into our CTX bumper. Last thing we need to do is remove our pedestrian speaker here. That's going to require a T25 T-handle or bit. I like the T-handle just for the reach. And we're just going to remove all three of the Torx head bolts holding that in place. And these are self-tappers, so they are going to be a little stiff for the first 3 or 4 turns, and then they should loosen right up. And we will not be reusing those bolts for our CTX bumper. We'll set this to the side. The final piece to remove from our front bumper is going to be our camera and camera cover here. You're going to need a T20 socket or bit, and we're going to remove these 2 silver bolts at the bottom of the camera cover. You may have to flip the bumper upside down to see them. And then our cover should just pop right off like that. And that will reveal 2 small T8 screws that we're going to need to remove. And then your camera will come out the front of the bumper. Just gonna remove these 2 tiny bolts here. And we don't have to worry about our camera falling through the bumper. And just like that, that is our front fascia camera removed, and we're gonna set this aside to transfer to our off-road bumper. That's gonna wrap it up for our factory bumper removal. If you like what you see, leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check us out at tsportline.com.